Okay, this is 1 p.m. Eastern time. There we go. It's Saturday! You know what that means? We're live! Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms! And I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the channel on YouTube.com. As of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle, wait for it. Wait for it. To mankind. And this is the official Lightning Flash update for Saturday, October 30th, 2021. I need a drink just after that. Man, that felt good. That felt good. We're kicking off Halloween weekend right here on the channel. We're kicking off Halloween weekend right here. Let us check the chat and see who's rocking and rolling here on this fine Saturday afternoon here in New Jersey, although many of you are scattered across the country and the world. We got Peanuts. Peanuts, baby. We also got Rob Wells Jr. We got Dee. Hassan the man. Hassan the man. He is always a delight. There we go. Hassan the man. My man. We also got Rob Wells Jr. How you doing, brother? Hope everyone is doing damn good here on this fine Saturday afternoon. We got a lot to talk about. There is a lot to discuss here on this version of the Lightning Flash update. And I appreciate, once again, each and every single one of you dropping by here, making sure everyone is rocking and rolling in the chat. I love to see it. I love to see the old faces. It's always good. I consider you guys my family. It's always a pleasure seeing you take time out of your Saturdays to join me here to discuss pro wrestling. This entire week worth of pro wrestling was a monumental week, to say the least, in terms of news and in terms of the weekly shows. Nathan Curse, how you doing? I greatly appreciate you stopping by. Please make sure you hit that like button if you have not already done so, and then you can get on out of here. Go about your day. But we have a lot to discuss, including more news on Charlotte Flair. A lot of Charlotte Flair news came out this week. We have a lot to discuss there. Ring of Honor has apparently closed up shop for the first quarter of 2021. They've released their entire roster, and we could very well see the death in general of Ring of Honor, especially considering that a lot of the individuals are going to go sign elsewhere. They're going to find new homes elsewhere. Mr. Rob Wells Jr., to answer your question, how's the new job going? It's going pretty well. I can't even believe that I've already finished up my first month. Yes, I've already finished up my first month as a national accounts analyst for this new company. It is, quite frankly, unbelievable how quickly my life has gone. 1 month down, and pretty soon it's going to be 1 year down the line in 2022, and I'm going to be looking back on my first day, and I'm going to be like, holy shit, this time fly. But the new job is going very, very well. I greatly appreciate you asking. Habiki TMD with a huss in the chat to start off his conversation on this fine Saturday afternoon. I greatly appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know that you've got a lot of management to do at your job. And of course, we got Matt Moody. Greatly appreciate Mr. Matt Moody. I'm doing damn good. I hope that you're doing all right as well. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join me here on the Lightning Flash update. Like I said, we have a lot of material to discuss. As I already said, more Charlotte Flair news. Ring of Honor closing up shop. Eric Bischoff has apparently made comments about Tony Khan celebrating his win in the demo over SmackDown, calling it a pointless win, saying CM Punk has shit the bed. Of course, it's just Eric Bischoff being Eric Bischoff. We'll dive into more of that later on. Greg Hamilton's been released, and of course, Sasha Banks says that the WWE Women's Division is the best it's ever been. Yeah, sure. We'll dive into that and what I think about that as well. Plus, we got 6 weekly shows to dissect. I'm talking about Raw, NXT, Dynamite, NXT UK, SmackDown, and Rampage. And we are not going to waste any more time. But first things first, we need to get through the self-brand promotion and advertisements here before we get into the meat and potatoes of this fine 4-course meal known as the Lightning Flash Update. If you have not already done so, please make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @TheDJ_Storms. Please make sure you follow me both on Twitter and Instagram. The link is in the description, as well as my Facebook. Please add me on Facebook. For collaborations and business inquiries, please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. All links are in the description. Please, please, please make sure you check them all out if you have not already done so. We are about 7 minutes into the stream. If you have not already liked the stream, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. We got goals we want to reach. Please make sure you like the stream if you have not already done so. It is vital that you do so. Like the stream and then share it out on all platforms of social media. Get as many people in here as possible. I'm talking about your mothers, your fathers, your brothers, your sisters, your sons, your daughters, your aunts, your uncles, your grandmothers, your grandfathers, your 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th cousins twice, 3 times, 4 times removed, your dogs, your cats, and especially your guinea pigs, man, because I'm telling you, if my computer starts running slow, you know what it's from. It's because I got article after article after article after article lodged up in my laptop specifically stating that if guinea pigs are exposed to DJ Storms, they are said to live long, happy, healthy, and fruitful lives. So please make sure you tell your guinea pigs that DJ Storms is live on YouTube.com. Hit the subscribe button and smash that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever. And I drop my phone. Whatever. It's a live stream. I don't give a shit. Trust me on that. I don't give a shit. Live stream, drop my phone, we're rolling with it. I'm not even going to edit that out. I don't even think you can edit a live stream. But regardless, please make sure you hit the notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it is, of course, the best time to be on YouTube because it's the only time you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn shin strap combination, this beautiful mustache. Please give me just 1 second so I can light it up right here. Earl Cole's not in the stream yet. I don't know why, but regardless, I'm pretty sure we'll see him later on in the show. We're going to light it up with a little bit of and a little bit of and a little dash of because everybody wants a piece of the Stormsmeister. We got Adam Carl. Adam Carl jumped in the chat. DJ Sums as well. Thank you, Adam Carl. And, of course, my man, Hula Grim. Thank you, Hula Grim, for joining the LFU. You are a real one. You are a real one, I'm telling you. Now then. I know, Hibiki. Yeah, that was a botch and a half, but let me tell you something. Even when I botch, I'm better than every single person that does this shit on a weekly basis. You dig? Get back to fucking work. What the fuck are you doing? Get back to work, Hibiki. Anyway, let's not waste any more time. We got a lot of shit to dissect. Let's kick off the news, rumors, and reports with the big story, and it's been developing and developing for the last week. Charlotte Flair. I'm pretty sure you're going to be hearing me say fuck Charlotte Flair a lot throughout this stream, more so than usual. There's been a lot of material to go into this Charlotte Flair report, this Charlotte Flair story that seems to get a new layer every single day. So PW Insider reported that those very close to Charlotte Flair have been pushing the idea of her trying to get out of her WWE contract. However, they also are aware that it is not a realistic situation right now. Now, I'm not sure how realistic it is, but let me tell you something. With the way that Charlotte Flair keeps on acting, she could very well get out of her contract sooner rather than later. And if they want to, they could fire her right then and there. Maybe she walks. I don't know. There was also reports going around, and I heard this from a friend of mine, which I'm not going to name her name because I am keeping things private. Reports came out that there was a story. Charlotte Flair wanted to put over Bianca Belaire and drop the Raw Women's title to her. Reports came out stating that report was indeed false. It was false, and Charlotte Flair's camp merely pitched that idea to take some of the heat off of her. PW Insider also reported that 2 different sources stated that Sonya Deville was extremely angry with Charlotte Flair and that she was mad enough to quote-unquote fight Flair at one point. It was said that Deville had an argument with Flair backstage at SmackDown. It was previously noted that Wade Keller of PW Torch VIP has come out saying nobody in the division wants to work with Charlotte, as she has become increasingly difficult to work with because of her tendency to hog the spotlight and wanting everything to always be about her. Now, to people like me, this is not a surprise. This is not a surprise whatsoever. I'm pretty sure a lot of people that are in the same boat as me have come out saying, hey, I told you so. I don't want to be that guy, but, I can't help but be that guy. Because I've been saying this for a long, long time. When I tell you I know what I'm talking about when it comes to pro wrestling, you better fucking believe I know what I'm talking about when it comes to pro wrestling. I am no Albert Einstein. I don't know everything there is to know about everything, but when I tell you I know what I'm talking about, I tell you I know what I'm fucking talking about. And as far as this situation with Charlotte Flair is concerned, I knew what I was talking about from day fucking one. Charlotte Flair is a self-absorbed, manipulative cunt. But we already knew that. Here's the issue. Reports going around also that Becky Lynch is seen as a hero as well, which I don't understand why, because Becky Lynch, she's the one that advocated for Vince McMahon to turn her heel, and then she had no problem beating Bianca Belaire in less than 30 seconds at SummerSlam. So I don't understand where Becky Lynch being seen as a quote-unquote hero comes into play. Because at the end of the day, Becky Lynch is only seen as a hero because she was the first one of her kind to actually stand up to Charlotte Flair. It could have been anyone in that position. But Becky Lynch, she doesn't even realize, and many people don't even realize, that Becky Lynch is on her way to becoming the next Charlotte Flair. Becky Lynch is on her way to becoming the next Charlotte Flair because Becky, she was the woman that was underneath Charlotte Flair. She was fighting from underneath, and she was doing everything in her power to get on the level of a Charlotte Flair. Now that she's on the level of a Charlotte Flair, all she's doing is hogging up that spotlight, and she's refusing to put anyone else over, nor is she making the division better. She doesn't care. It's been quite apparent that Bayley and Sasha are the only ones that actually care about the division. So I don't understand why Becky Lynch is regarded as a hero. Becky Lynch, sooner rather than later, she is going to be looked at as Charlotte Flair 2.0 by the majority of the community. That's why I've been calling her Becky Flair. Now, as far as Charlotte goes, everyone is getting all pissed at Charlotte Flair because she's increasingly difficult to work with. She is absolutely difficult to work with, and she is absolutely a selfish cunt. We already know this, but many people don't even realize that Vince McMahon was the one that created this Frankenstein monster. Many people don't even realize that Vince McMahon and his constant tendency to focus on pushing the same stars over and over again, Lesnar, Roman, Goldberg, Rollins, Charlotte, Becky, the Usos, the New Day, the same fucking people being pushed in the spotlight over and over and over and over again. No new stars are made, and no one gets over. And by the time that we've seen all of these individuals that I just named in the spotlight for so long, for so many years, we all get sick of them. This is one of the main problems that WWE has had for God knows how many years now. Vince McMahon wants to wonder why Charlotte Flair is so difficult to work with. He's the one that gave Charlotte Flair this ego. Charlotte Flair is to blame for herself for getting this big head and not thinking about others and not thinking about the betterment of the division. But Vince McMahon was the one that constantly reverted back to pushing Charlotte Flair and pushing Charlotte Flair and pushing Charlotte Flair to a point where now Charlotte Flair's ego is as big as the fucking Eiffel Tower. Vince McMahon is just as to blame as Charlotte is. And at the end of the day, you know what? It doesn't surprise me if Charlotte Flair legitimately wants to get out of her contract. But here's something that I'm trying to figure out. Here's something that I'm trying to figure out. And here's something that everyone needs to think about. And I mean think about this in depth. Everyone has an ego. I got a fucking ego. You already know that. I got a fucking ego. I got a fucking ego that extends from here all the way across the Atlantic Ocean to the United Kingdom. My ego is about as big as the Atlantic Ocean. You know that. You know that. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Everyone has an ego, but there's a lot of people in the pro wrestling industry that are willing to put their egos aside for the greater good of business. And that's what the people that are employed in AEW do. You don't think that CM Punk has an ego. You don't think that fucking Jon Moxley has an ego. You don't think that Kenny Omega has an ego. You don't think the Young Bucks have egos. You don't think that everyone employed in AEW, you don't think they got egos. Of course they do. Everyone has an ego, but the people in AEW, they put their egos aside for the greater good of business. Charlotte Flair's never done that. If Charlotte Flair was to get out of her contract and she was to go and branch out and seek work elsewhere, go and do other projects, what do you think is going to happen if Charlotte Flair refuses to get rid of this fucking ego that she has? Because when she goes to AEW, AEW doesn't just focus on one person. AEW focuses on everybody. AEW gives opportunities to everyone. Everyone gets an equal spotlight. You take a look at the women's division, it's never the same women on the show every single fucking week unless you're Britt Baker, because Britt Baker is the AEW Women's World Champion. But even then, she's not on television every week. One week we see Red Velvet versus Jade Cargill. The next week we see Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida. The next week we see Ruby Soho versus The Bunny. The next week we see Nyla Rose versus Chris Statlander. It's an alternating door of women. Everyone is getting an opportunity. Fucking Abaddon got an opportunity, and she sucks. Abaddon got an opportunity, and she sucks dick. So at the end of the day, is Charlotte Flair going to be willing to put her ego aside for the greater good of the AEW women's division? Because Charlotte Flair is not there. Charlotte Flair isn't merely there to hog the spotlight. People like Ruby Soho and Charlotte Flair, and if Tessa Blanchard decides to go to AEW in the future, if that happens, I'm not saying it will, but if it happens, people like that are not people that are going to hog up the spotlight. Ruby Soho hasn't hogged up the spotlight. She's there to add name value to the division. Is Charlotte Flair going to be able to put her ego aside for the greater good of business? And if she doesn't, does Tony Khan really want to put up with her ego? I don't think so. Let me know what you guys think, but I don't know what's going to happen. Charlotte Flair and this entire story, this developing story with Charlotte Flair, the fact that she is looked at as difficult to work with and she's a selfish cunt, we already knew that. That is nothing new. In other words, water is wet, grass is green, the sky is blue. But at the end of the day, the thing that's most interesting is what is going to come out of this. It's all a wait and see type of situation. I have the answers for pretty much everything regarding pro wrestling, but for once, I don't have a legitimate answer. I have no idea what the fuck's going to happen with Charlotte Flair. At this rate, we're just going to have to wait it out and see what happens. I don't know. I don't know where she goes. Could she go to Women of Wrestling? Perhaps. Does she leave? She could. Does she stay? She could. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be a very, very, very interesting scenario. Charlotte Flair right now, inadvertently, because of this story, Charlotte Flair may be the most interesting person in all of WWE, specifically because of the fact that we don't know what's going to come out of this. We don't know what's going to come out of this story. This story has inadvertently made Charlotte Flair an intriguing part of television. And I can't even believe that I'm saying that because we don't know what's going to happen with Charlotte Flair now every single time she comes out on television. So in that regard, it could be looked at as a positive, but there is much more negative than there is positive regarding the situation. I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to have to wait and see. Let me know what you guys think. But that's the latest on this Charlotte Flair story. I'm going to be sure to keep my eye on this, and I will tell anyone any new pieces of information that I have regarding the story developing over the course of the next few weeks. Because you know we're going to have something going into Survivor Series with this. That's the news going down with Charlotte Flair. We're going to move on to the next piece of news. WWE has revealed their entire pay-per-view calendar for 2022. And there are fewer pay-per-views next year. I'm not sure that this includes the Saudi Arabian shows. We could very well have a Saudi Arabian show. I don't know. But so far, this is what their pay-per-view calendar reads. WWE Day 1 to take place at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta on January 1st, 2022. Followed by the Royal Rumble at the Dome at America Center in St. Louis on January 29th. WrestleMania 38 in Dallas, Texas at AT&T Stadium on April 2nd and 3rd. It will be a two-night event. The May 8th pay-per-view, still undecided, at Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence, Rhode Island. June 5th pay-per-view, still undecided, at Allstate Arena in Chicago. Money in the Bank on Saturday, yes, Saturday, July 2nd, at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. Saturday, July 30th, SummerSlam in Nissan Stadium in Nashville. Saturday or Sunday, September 3rd or 4th, pay-per-view at a location to be determined. We could very well see WWE countering All Out that Labor Day weekend, but I thought that AEW wasn't competition, says Roman Reigns as he sucks Vince McMahon's nutsack. Sure. We have another Saturday pay-per-view as well, and it's going to be Survivor Series on November 26th at the TD Garden in Boston. And that is WWE's pay-per-view calendar for 2022. Now, first things first, I like that there are fewer pay-per-views. And I like that we are getting some Saturday pay-per-views as well, because I think everyone is in agreement that Saturday pay-per-views are a hell of a lot better than Sunday pay-per-views. But at the same point in time, does this mean that WWE is going to attempt to put more effort into their shows? I personally don't think so. Fewer pay-per-views, the better. The fewer pay-per-views, the better, even though I believe that WWE's pay-per-views, even if they did do one pay-per-view a month, it could still be good as long as they put effort into it. But WWE, they barely put any effort into their weekly shows. So why would they put effort into their pay-per-views? WWE doesn't put any effort into anything. So at the end of the day, fewer pay-per-views for WWE means fewer shows that could turn out being shit. If we're going to be real here, there's only been about, how many pay-per-views? 3 or 4 WWE pay-per-views this year that have actually been worth going out of your way to watch. Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania Backlash, and Crown Jewel. That's it. That's it. I'll keep my eye on that September pay-per-view as well, because if we do get a pay-per-view looking to counter All Out, man, you might as well just stick a fucking stamp on your head that says desperate. Because that's what WWE is. They're desperate. I got a report according to Dave Meltzer. He says that Tony Nese, the premier athlete, Tony Nese, has apparently signed with All Elite Wrestling. I definitely don't mind that. I'm just concerned that he's not going to find his footing, because there are so many people in AEW right now that are at the top of their game. There are so many people in AEW right now that are at the top of their game to a point where it's just an oversaturated roster at this rate. I don't know what's going to happen personally as far as AEW goes and Tony Nese goes. I'm definitely going to keep my eye on this, but I don't see Tony Nese really finding his footing until 2022, maybe 2023. I don't see Tony Nese in any type of premier spotlights at any point in time within the next year or year and a half. Maybe he's a TNT champion. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Does AEW still have their working relationship with Impact? I don't know. I definitely don't know. Because if they do, then we could very well see Tony Nese go to Impact through the Forbidden Door. But there's reports going around that supposedly, we have AEW and Impact nixing their partnership. I don't know what's going to happen there. But Tony Nese has signed with AEW. Good for Tony Nese. Definitely would not mind seeing him in some TNT title programs here and there. I'd love to see a match between him and Malachi. I'd love to see a match between him and Bryan. I'd love to see a match between him and Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship. Sounds good to me. Greg Hamilton, WWE ring announcer. Greg Hamilton was released by WWE this week. This reportedly had something to do with the fact that rapper Westside Gunn used Greg Hamilton's voice in a music video of his, I believe. And of course, Westside Gunn is tight with a lot of people in the professional wrestling industry. Hamilton then threatened him on Instagram to get WWE lawyers involved and sue him. And that could very well have been the downfall of Greg Hamilton. Now, to a certain extent, I understand why Greg Hamilton would be mad, because someone's using something of yours and he's not really giving you quote-unquote credit. But there's a professional way to handle that. You talk to him privately, or you talk to him over the phone, talk to him in DMs or text him, have a face-to-face sit-down conversation with him. There's no reason to be threatening people publicly. Whether it be on Twitter or social media or Facebook or Snapchat or TikTok, there's no reason to threaten someone publicly when you are a prominent public figure. When you are a public figure, everyone is watching you like a hawk, and everyone is watching you to see when you're going to fuck up. It doesn't matter who you are. I know that for firsthand. People have been watching me like a hawk to see when I'm going to fuck up, just so they can get on my back, because they got their own miserable lives and they don't want to take responsibility for their own mistakes. So at the end of the day, Greg Hamilton, he's responsible for his own downfall. Obviously, he's going to learn from his mistakes. He'll get better, and he'll understand where he went wrong, but now he has no job. And it sucks, because he was perhaps the best ring announcer that WWE had since they fired Justin Roberts. Which I'm pissed off about, because, man, Justin Roberts was a fucking great ring announcer for WWE. Now he's announcing for AEW. He's got a new lease on life. Justin Roberts is great at what he does. So now Greg Hamilton's without a job. Very, very unprofessional way for Greg Hamilton to have handled himself. Should have just DM'd him, could have called him, could have texted him, had a face-to-face conversation with him, but no. I don't really know why. I don't really know why he decided to go that route, but it is what it is. I hope that Greg Hamilton can learn from his mistake, and I hope that he finds work elsewhere. Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor. A lot of people were shocked by this news that came out on Wednesday. Ring of Honor has announced that they will not be renewing their obligations to put on weekly television or do special pay-per-views. They are not going to be carrying out operations until April of next year. Excuse me, almost at this year. They're not going to be carrying out operations until April of next year. They released their entire roster this week. They released their entire roster this week, and at this rate, I understand where they're going. They're going to try and revamp Ring of Honor and take things in a new direction. I'm pretty sure that Ring of Honor and their intentions, they're good. But at the end of the day, I don't see Ring of Honor really making a comeback next year because the landscape of pro wrestling right now, it's at a point where things are moving so rapidly and every single company is jockeying for position. Every single company is jockeying to sign top-tier talent to try and make their company the best company in the world right now. And Ring of Honor, the fact that they quote-unquote folded for at least the first quarter of 2022, this tells me that Ring of Honor, they're pretty much done. They're pretty much done, and we could very well see some company, I don't know which company, they could very well buy out Ring of Honor. You see all of these individuals that got released, all of these individuals and the pro wrestling landscape right now, where we could see some individuals go to Impact, since Impact, they need to bulk up their roster a bit. We could see them go to AEW. Hell, we could see some go to WWE. Who fucking knows? Who fucking knows? Because I know for a fact WWE, they can't not sign anyone from the independent scene. They can't. They can't. Because if they do, and they just focus on the homegrown talent, they are going to be in a shithole. They really are. I don't know what's going to happen with Ring of Honor, but it could very well be the end of an era for Ring of Honor. Maybe we could see Tony Khan buy out Ring of Honor. Maybe Tony Khan brings in Ring of Honor as a quote-unquote developmental system for himself. Maybe Tony Khan is in a scenario where he develops their own type of PC with Ring of Honor. I'm not sure if Ring of Honor has a headquarters. I don't think that they do, but we could very well see Ring of Honor become a breeding ground for AEW. We could very well see Ring of Honor get bought out by AEW, and maybe AEW expands their fan base even more. Because Ring of Honor, they got a fan base. We could very well see whatever fan base that Ring of Honor has left, maybe a couple 100,000 people, we could very well see them gravitate over towards AEW. You never know. You never know. That's the Ring of Honor news. We're going to move on to the Eric Bischoff news. And I'm not really going to spend too much time on this because there's really nothing to dive into. As I said in the beginning, this was just Eric Bischoff being Eric Bischoff. Eric Bischoff, he made some comments about Tony Khan celebrating a win in the demo, saying that he was celebrating a pointless win, saying that WWE does not have any competition with AEW. And on top of that, he said CM Punk is quote-unquote shitting the bed in his in-ring return. I don't really know why everyone's getting so worked up over this. Eric Bischoff has always lived by the motto, controversy creates cash. I've taken advice from Eric Bischoff, and I've developed my own brand of controversy. You don't think that Eric Bischoff knows ratings? You don't think that Eric Bischoff knows demos? You don't think that Eric Bischoff knows the times have changed? You don't think that Eric Bischoff knows everything that's going on in the world of pro wrestling? You don't think that Eric Bischoff knows that WWE is doing everything in their power, every other move, to counter-program AEW? You don't think that Eric Bischoff knows that Rampage isn't about drawing ratings? You don't think that Eric Bischoff knows that TNT is quite happy with the ratings that AEW is drawing? You don't think that Eric Bischoff knows that? Of course he does. Eric Bischoff is one of the most intelligent individuals when it comes to pro wrestling, at least in ratings. In terms of ratings and gaining attention, Eric Bischoff is one of the best minds in terms of getting attention. Eric Bischoff does not know anything about modern-day pro wrestling. He doesn't. He's even admitted himself that he does not watch any modern-day pro wrestling. He's not familiar with what's going on. He doesn't know the characters. This is just Eric Bischoff being Eric Bischoff. Eric Bischoff merely wants to get people talking. Thus, these comments. What is the most stereotypical way to get people talking about you? Oh, shit on AEW when we all know there's little to nothing to shit on AEW about. Simple. He's going to shit on AEW because he knows that people are going to start talking about him and flocking into his DMs, and Eric Bischoff is going to be trending on Twitter. Simple as that. There's really nothing more to say. Eric Bischoff was playing everyone like puppets. There's no reason to get all worked up by what Eric Bischoff is saying. Eric Bischoff knows how important AEW's win in the demo with Rampage against SmackDown was. He knows that. He's just saying this just to get people talking about him because people weren't talking about him. Now, everyone's talking about Eric Bischoff. Shit on AEW, even though there's nothing to shit on AEW about, and thus people will talk about you. It's pathetic. It's pathetic that a guy like Eric Bischoff has to resort to that in order to gain attention, but at the end of the day, a lot of people are doing that. I mean, you can't really take him seriously. You can't. There's really nothing to get all worked up about with Eric Bischoff. He's just doing what he's always done. He's being controversial to gain attention. And now people are talking about Eric Bischoff, and more likely than not, people are going to tune into his podcast to see what he's going to say next. So in a sense, he's kind of a genius in that sense. He's kind of a genius in that sense, even though he said something blatantly retarded. It is what it is. Speaking of blatantly retarded, and I don't mean this as a dig towards her, Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks, this is our final report, and then we're going to move on to the weekly show reviews. Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks was speaking to Graham Matthews on Bleacher Report, and she discussed the current state of the women's division. And I got a lot of shit to say about this, and you're going to want to listen to this one closely. So she talked about the state of the women's division. She said, and I quote, "I feel like we've been knocking down every door that's been closed in front of us. If they keep making more doors, we're going to keep knocking them down. The WWE's women's division is the best it's ever been. I think it's the greatest of any era from top to bottom, and I can't wait to see what more the future brings, even from NXT 2.0, to see how many women are down there from when I first started. There was only a group of 8, and now there's maybe a group of 30. Just to see the growth from then to now is so beautiful." Now, first things first. I love Sasha Banks. A lot of people do. And you can clearly sense in her words that she loves the business. She loves the business. She cares about the business. She cares about helping the division. And she wants the women in the division to thrive. She loves seeing talent get better. She loves seeing the division evolve. She loves seeing everyone come together and lift each other up. And that's exactly what Sasha Banks is all about. And that's what I love about her. She genuinely cares about her craft. She cares about making the division better. She loves professional wrestling. But at the same point in time, what I got from this interview is a woman who can't say what she really wants to say. Why? Because she'll get in trouble. Her hands are tied. You can sense that she is legitimately trying to dance around the issue. And she's doing that because she has no choice. She's talking about how many women there are in the division and the new faces that we have in the division. And in that sense, you could make an argument that WWE's women's division, in terms of the talent that they have, is probably the best it's ever been. Sasha, fantastic, one of the greatest of all time. Bayley, fantastic, one of the greatest of all time. Becky, she's good when she wants to be. Charlotte, good when she wants to be. Bianca is a bona fide Hall of Famer. Asuka's great. I love the progression of Liv Morgan. Rhea Ripley's great when she wasn't booked like shit. Nikki Cross was great when she had that great sanity character. And then you got NXT 2.0. Dakota Kai's great. Raquel Gonzalez is coming to her own. Mandy Rose has gotten a hell of a lot better. So the women's division, in terms of the talent itself, I understand what she's saying, but at the same point in time, you could have the best roster, and you could argue that they do right now. You could have the best roster that you could have possibly assembled in the history of your company in terms of in-ring talent alone, but that doesn't mean jack shit if the booking on this show and the booking of this company is not the best it's ever been. You take a look at AEW's women's division, and their division as a whole isn't the greatest, but their division is a lot better than WWE in terms of booking. The booking of AEW's women's division this year alone has been very, very good. You've seen some great matches this year. Baker and Statlander, Shida and Ty Conti, Shida and Serena Deeb, Ruby Soho, Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa. We've seen some very good. Red Velvet has broken out and become a must-see act on television. She's great at what she does. There has been a lot of individuals that have broken out and they've become so much more than they were when they originally started, and that's because of booking. There could be someone who has little to no talent whatsoever, but if they're booked like a superstar, if they have the proper booking could help a superstar so much. If you have the proper booking now, then all you have to do is keep up with it. Now, Sasha Banks, she's very, very passionate about the quality of her work. She's very, very passionate about the women's division. She loves pro wrestling, but she can't say what she really wants to say. Because if she did, she'll get in trouble. The women's division right now in WWE is at its worst state ever. Probably just as worse as the Divas era back in 2009, 2010. The women's division now is pretty much a direct copy of what we saw 10 years ago in the Divas division. The only way that any woman can wrestle in a match, if it's over 10 minutes, is if they fight Charlotte, Becky, Bayley, Sasha, or Bianca. Every other match is 3 minutes or less. Look at Zelena Vega and Toni Storm. That lasted 2 minutes in the Queen's Crown tournament. 2 minutes. And I got another hot take for you. And you're going to want to listen to this, and you're going to want to mark this down in your calendars. On October 30th, 2021, DJ Storms predicted the fucking future. I honestly believe in a few years, Sasha Banks is going to be looked at as the CM Punk of the women's division. And what do I mean by that? Sasha Banks is an individual that came from nothing and worked her ass off to make women's wrestling something of substance. Sasha and Bayley are the two women that single-handedly sparked the revolution. All the way back at TakeOver Brooklyn Won. Sasha Banks is still with the WWE because of one reason and one reason only. She is attempting to break the glass ceiling. She is attempting to break through to Vince McMahon. She's attempting to break through to Johnny People Power. She's attempting to break through to White Castle Pritchard and Kevin Dunn, Timmy Turner, Nick Khan. She's trying to break through. She's trying to break through to their thick skulls and break the mold. She's trying to break the mold, and she's trying to make women's wrestling something of substance. Just like CM Punk broke into WWE, and he wanted to switch around the mentality of WWE and really make them open their eyes instead of constantly pushing these big, meaty muscle men and finally focusing on the in-ring talent, focusing on professional wrestling, because that's what CM Punk and Sasha Banks have in common. They are both professional wrestlers. CM Punk failed in his quest, so much so that he walked out and he left for 7 years because he could not deal with the fact that WWE killed his passion for professional wrestling. AEW rejuvenated that. Sasha Banks, there's only so much that a woman can take. There's only so much that anyone in general could take. There's only so much bullshit that someone can take. And I guess you can lump Bayley into this as well. But Sasha Banks, my God, Sasha Banks, she has done everything that this company has asked her to do. And this company continues to just shit all over the concept of women's wrestling. She has gone out there and given her body for this business. So much so that she could very well have fucking back problems when her career is all said and done. And this company has done nothing but shit on the very thing that Sasha Banks has loved. There's only so much more a person can take before they say enough is enough. I thoroughly believe that in due time, this right here, whatever's going on with the women's division right now, and the blatant disrespect that WWE has given to women's wrestling, WWE is going to kill Sasha Banks' passion for pro wrestling. She's going to have her passion killed, so much so that she's going to pull a CM Punk, she's going to pull a Pac, and she's going to walk out. She's going to walk out because she cannot deal with the toxicity, she can't deal with the utter disrespect, and she can't deal with the mistreatment of not only herself, but women's wrestling in general. I thoroughly believe that in due time, CM Punk and Sasha Banks are going to be looked at as one and the same. Sasha Banks will be looked at as the CM Punk of the women's division, and she's going to walk out because they have shown no signs of treating women's wrestling like something of substance. The only time that Vince McMahon actually treated women's wrestling like something of substance was when Ronda Rousey was there. All they've done ever since they retired the Divas title belt and ever since they retired the meaning of diva, all they've done is push divas. They've pushed the Iconics. They've pushed Zelena Vega. They've pushed Alexa Bliss. All they've done is given the women 3, 4, 5 minutes at most. It has gotten worse and worse and worse and worse as the years have gone on with this company and women's wrestling. The company does not give a shit about women's wrestling. They never have, and they never will. Not until Vince McMahon and all the people that are a part of his camp are gone. Sasha Banks, I guarantee you right now, with every passing day, her passion dies just a little bit more. Her passion for pro wrestling decreases just a little bit more. Sooner rather than later, she's going to have nothing left. She's going to be going through the motions, and she is going to say, you know what? I've had enough of this. Fuck you, you old bastard. I'm getting the fuck out of here, and I'm taking my services elsewhere where I'm respected. Watch. Just watch. Wait and see what happens. Keep a close eye on Sasha Banks. Those are the news, rumors, and reports. Those are the news, rumors, and reports. I'd like to thank each and every single one of you for sticking around. We got 6 weekly shows to go over. Earl Cole is here. Furious Nation is here. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. I greatly appreciate y'all sticking around. We are rocking and rolling. We got 13 likes. If you guys have not already liked the stream, I don't know what you're doing. Make sure you like the stream. Make sure you share out the stream. Get as many people in here as possible because we're going to talk about the worst television show on the planet, and that's Monday Night Raw. Fuck anyone who thought Monday Night Raw was good. You're a cancer to the world. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Dee Dee, no one's picking on you. We all love you, honey. We all love you. Raw. Raw started off with Big E. He welcomed everyone to the season premiere of Monday Night Raw. I would like to welcome my head to my pillow. He wished the Astros good luck. Fuck the Astros. They're just as bad as the Dallas Cowboys, and they're just as bad as the Patriots. Fuck the Astros. He congratulated Xavier Woods on winning King of the Ring. He did not deserve to win King of the Ring, just so you know. And he also thanked Drew McIntyre for pushing him to his limits. He then asked who was going to be his next challenger before Seth Rollins came out. The stereotypical WWE formula of having an individual come out. He goes, "You already know why I'm out here." Big E said, "You lost to Edge, so that means you go to the back of the line." Big E, I think you may have the companies confused because you see in WWE, they reward all of the individuals that have done nothing but lose. But don't worry, Big E, you'll find that out sooner rather than later because you're going to be a loser as soon as you lose the WWE Championship. You're also going to be a loser at Survivor Series because you're going to lose to Roman. So Rollins says, "I went through hell on Thursday, but the Universal Champion is too afraid to give me an opportunity. So do you want to be like Roman Reigns or do you want to be a fighting champion?" What a way to bury your biggest star in the company. So all of a sudden, Rey Mysterio comes out and he goes, "Clearly, Rollins, your vision is impaired. Now, it's been a minute since we stood eye to eye, if you get that reference. But I believe my resume speaks for itself. I am willing to do whatever it takes to win that championship one more time." Finn Balor then came out. He ran off his resume. And then Kevin Owens came out. He ran off his resume as well. NXT champion, US champion, IC champion, Universal champion. He then said he won the Universal Championship in Houston, and then he called Seth Rollins Cruella Deville because he was wearing a Cruella Deville-like coat, which looked hideous, by the way. And then we get a big brawl. Sonya Deville comes out, and she made a fatal four-way ladder match where the winner faces Big E for the WWE Championship. I don't understand why this segment needed to happen. I don't understand why we went this route. I don't understand why WWE needs to revert back to the same old shit over and over and over again. There was nothing new. There was nothing exciting. There was nothing fresh about this open. You legitimately threw 4 guys out there who've done nothing but lose. And now all of a sudden, all of a sudden deserve a title opportunity. They're getting this title opportunity in the main event in a ladder match. And then people are going to ask, well, why are you always complaining? These hicks from the South, or these fucking social justice warriors from the North. Well, why are you complaining? Because we're going to get a big match, and we got 4 guys that's never faced Big E before, and we're going to get a new challenger. Why am I complaining, huh? Maybe it's because Rey Mysterio hasn't been winning any matches on television. He lost in the first round of the King of the Ring tournament. Maybe if he's been winning matches, maybe I wouldn't be complaining. Maybe if Kevin Owens wasn't jobbing out to Happy Corbin for about 6 weeks, I wouldn't be complaining. Maybe if Seth Rollins beat Edge at Hell in a Cell in Crown Jewel, maybe I wouldn't be complaining. Maybe if Finn Balor won King of the Ring, I wouldn't be complaining. But you're okay. You're okay with 4 guys that have done nothing to deserve an opportunity. You're okay with them getting an opportunity. That's why you are the problem and I'm the solution. Read the shirt. We got Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler versus the Street Profits versus the Alpha Academy, where the winner earns a Raw Tag Team title opportunity. WWE actually canceled AJ and Omos versus RK Bro on the show. I'm glad they did. Trust me, I'm glad that they did. And surprise, surprise, we actually get a #1 contenders match between 3 teams. Shocked me beyond belief. Shocked the hell out of me. I could have sworn that someone was going to get put up against RK Bro and they were going to beat RK Bro in a non-title match. But hey, I take a #1 contenders match any day of the week. So this was a decent little match. Street Profits were standing tall, coming back from commercial. The Dirty Dogs were in control before Montez Ford hit a sit-out powerbomb on Dolph. Looked very nice. Otis put Ziggler in the corner and tagged himself in. Otis accidentally sent himself into the post before Angelo Dawkins made the tag. He lit up everyone with some exploder suplexes. And then a double underhook neck breaker to Gable, and Otis saved it. We had a discus lariat German suplex combo, which looked brutal. Montez Ford with a big frog splash, breaking up the pin. Ford then with a tope con hero, taking out Otis. And then Angelo Dawkins hit the anointment on Chad Gable. All of a sudden, Omos, the Black Great Khali, came out. And he didn't even come out with theme music. So Montez Ford, like a fucking dunce, jumps onto Omos. No DQ, so it's legal. Omos took out Montez Ford, sent him into the barricade. Roode and Ziggler, they then delivered a very sloppy-looking spinebuster zigzag combo, and they win, and they earn a future Raw Tag Team title opportunity. Decent little match. I didn't really mind that Ziggler and Roode won because RK Bro clearly is not losing the titles. They should not be losing the titles. And I understand that we're going to get RK Bro versus the Usos, and then we're going to get RK Bro versus the Street Profits potentially. Then we're probably going to get RK Bro versus the Alpha Academy if Gable is still with WWE at the time. But here's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out why AJ and Omos are still a tag team. Why are we getting the Street Profits versus AJ and Omos? It's been 1 calendar year, and we still haven't even gotten an explanation as to why AJ even enlisted the services of Omos as a general manager. Why the fuck should we care about him as a tag team? Now we're getting the Street Profits versus AJ and Black Great Khali. I don't give a shit. You don't give a shit. Nobody gives a shit. AJ and Omos are now in a feud with the Profits. I hope to God that the Profits win. But at this rate, it doesn't matter who wins and who loses. If AJ and Omos win, it's a lose situation because Omos is fucking AIDS. If the Street Profits win, that means AJ is taking yet another loss. And AJ, my God, I cannot remember the last time that I've seen AJ get pinned so many times this year alone. AJ has been made into a glorified enhancement talent, and it's legitimately sad to see. It really is. The Sellout Zelena Vega, she had her royal coronation. She was making Mike Rome say her name again. She was cutting a terrible British accent. She spoke about being the most powerful person in the room and all sorts of bullshit. I barely paid attention to this. But I would like to inform everyone something. People want to say that they gave Zelena Vega the Queen of the Ring because they wanted to make up for leaving her off of the SmackDown show before 9/11 because her father died in the World Trade Center. Yeah, that might be it. But that has a very minuscule reason as to why they gave her the crown. You want to know why Zelena Vega won? It's because WWE has been keeping an eye on what AEW is doing. AEW is watched backstage by WWE management and the production crew. So, what's the issue here? You know who Zelena Vega's married to, right? Malachi Black. They gave Zelena Vega the Queen of the Ring because they want to shove it in Malachi Black's face. Hey, look, we didn't find any value in you, but we're finding value in your wife. This is what your wife's doing. See, what are you doing? Oh, you're losing to Cody. Look at how many people are saying that you're buried. And now look at Zelena Vega. Zelena Vega, your wife, she's more successful than you. When in reality, we all know that Malachi Black has done more in 4 months with AEW than he did in 4 years with WWE. We already know that Queen Zelena is a fucking fraud. We all know that Zelena Vega is one of the worst professional wrestlers in the company right now. So WWE, thinking that they outsmarted Black and they're shoving it in the face of Black, when in reality, they're just embarrassing his wife. Zelena Vega versus Doudrop. Zelena Vega removed the turnbuckle, and then as the ref was fixing the turnbuckle, she hit Doudrop with her scepter behind her head, or behind the referee's back, hit her right in the head, and she pinned Doudrop for the win. A rematch. A rematch. How about that? Becky Flair. Becky Flair came out to address the crowd. The selfish Irish cunt came out to address the crowd. She said that the man has come around to Houston. I wish the man would go away for another 18 months. Bellaire then came out to interrupt Becky. Thank God. I couldn't hear her ramble on any much longer, but she ended up doing that anyway, and Bianca Belair was no better. Bianca then goes, I wasn't the one that you cheated to pin. Bianca, it was a triple threat. There are no rules. So she goes, you should be ashamed of yourself. She's right, actually. Becky should be ashamed of herself, but not because she used the ropes at Crown Jewel, because she buried Bianca Belair and halted her momentum. She said, you found a way to get away from me ever since SummerSlam. I beat Sasha, I beat Bayley, and I beat Charlotte, so I earned a rematch with the Raw Women's Champion. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You beat Sasha and Bayley months ago. And Charlotte, you didn't beat Charlotte by pinfall or submission. You beat her by DQ twice. She says she's the new face of Raw. Becky then showed Bianca's face after Crown Jewel, and she goes, that's the face of a loser. She goes, I became a hero to these people. No, you didn't, Becky. You did not become a hero to the people. You've become the biggest fucking cunt next to Charlotte Flair. You've not become a hero to these people. Matter of fact, the only people that consider you a hero are the stands that take a knee towards you and wait to be fed by your breast milk, just like your baby. So she goes, you beat the best wrestler in the company, but that's only because I wasn't around to stop you in your tracks. Bianca then said, you really thought everyone was going to be happy for you and not root for me, but they are still rooting for me, and that bothers you. Bianca, they're not rooting for you. They're not rooting for you. They're not. No one's rooting for Bianca Belair. No one with a brain is rooting for Bianca Belaire, specifically because of the fact that Bianca Belaire, as we speak right now, is a complete waste of time. She's a complete waste of time, and she has not felt like herself ever since she got called up to the main roster. She has been booked like a complete stooge. No one cares about Bianca Belaire, especially not after what happened at SummerSlam. She's buried. Bianca Belaire is buried. I don't want to hear a single thing out of anyone's mouth. It doesn't matter whether she wins the title from Becky Lynch next week, whether she loses. It doesn't matter. Bianca Belaire is not the same. She was on her way to becoming a big star, and they ruined her momentum because of 26 seconds. If she lost in a competitive match, kind of like when Malachi lost to Cody, but it was a very competitive match, maybe I wouldn't be complaining. She goes, behind the title, you have nothing. If you're not enough with the title, you're nothing without it. Becky, you will never, and I mean never, be the smartest. That's me, and I want my rematch. Becky says, get to the back of the line, bitch. Bianca then dropped Becky where she stood, tossed her over the announce table. Becky then got out of Dodge. Becky then accepted Bianca's match, and it was for next week. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Bianca and this babyface character and her overly scripted promos are fucking terrible. Bianca Belaire and this feud with Becky Lynch is fucking terrible. No one gives a shit. And if you give a shit, you're in the minority. Damian Priest versus T-Balls. T-Bar. Priest has new theme music. Why? I don't know. And please don't tell me it's a CFO money issue. Please don't tell me it's a CFO money issue. Please don't tell me that they couldn't buy the rights to it. This company is getting paid billions of dollars by Saudi Arabia, Fox, NBC Universal, Peacock. They're getting paid billions of dollars, but you can't buy the rights to certain theme songs. The rights to certain theme songs cost about $200,000 at most. How much money are they getting paid from Saudi Arabia? Like $7-8 million? You can't spend $200,000, $300,000 to buy the rights to Damian Priest's theme song? Bullshit. They changed it because they want to change everything from NXT. Because Damian Priest was a Triple H project. Don't know why T-Bar still has the name T-Bar. This match ended in a disqualification when T-Bar threw a chair at Damian Priest. Priest then became unglued, and he beat the shit out of T-Bar, gave him the reckoning, and then he stood tall. Normally, I'd be happy about seeing Damian Priest and Dominik Dijakovic wrestle, but I just don't care. There's really no reason to care, especially considering this is a scenario where both guys are just being mishandled right before our very eyes. Damian Priest, even though he's been booked fairly well as the United States champion, they already changed this theme music. There's no more bow and arrow shit, no more Archer of Infamy. I don't get it. Now they're trying to make him out to be like some type of good and evil type character. I'm surprised he didn't lose, but I'm not complaining he didn't lose. Carmella versus Liv Morgan. Mella wins with a float over facebuster. Who gives a shit? Carmella fucking sucks with this new gimmick. And Liv Morgan, I feel bad for Liv Morgan. Keith Bearcat Lee. Wildcat Lee. I'm still waiting for Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens to accompany him to the ring. Keith Wildcat Lee took on Cedric Alexander. Hey, Hologram, how are those bare necessities? Have they come to you yet? Those bare necessities of Mother Nature's recipes. They'll bring the bare necessities of life. They'll come to you. I don't even fucking know how that song goes. How did that song go? I don't even fucking know. I haven't watched The Jungle Book in over like 15 years. Keith Belluli, he took on Cedric Alexander. He wins with the Big Bang Catastrophe. How long before they start calling that the Bearcat Catastrophe? I don't even know where to begin with this. Keith Lee, I'm telling you right now, Keith Lee, he almost felt like he was trying to force. He was trying to force some type of fake intensity. He was trying to force some type of fake anger. He was trying to force some type of fake anger to a point where he's unrecognizable. I don't even know who I'm watching anymore. It is depressing. It really is depressing to see. Keith Lee and this unnecessary name change combined with this unnecessary heel turn. Why are we going to boo Keith Lee? The guy overcame heart inflammation. Unbelievable. Dominic Mysterio, he took on Austin Theory. Dominic Mysterio mounted a comeback. He got dropped on the ropes, and then Austin Theory hit the ATL for the win. Austin Theory still undefeated. I'd like to hope that Austin Theory, he is going to be the next in line to take that title off of Damian Priest. RK Bro versus the Dirty Dogs. This was a solid match, probably the second best match of the night, but it's hard to care when you're just wasting it away on the same night. Why do you need to waste it away on the same night? Why couldn't you have actually built the match over the course of the next few weeks, leading up until the Raw Before Survivor Series? That way, you could have extended RK Bro's title reign a little bit more without having to defend the titles, but instead you just wasted away on the season premiere for no reason whatsoever. So the Dirty Dogs were in control before Riddle fought back. He tagged in Orton. Orton then lit up Robert Roode with a nice snap power slam. Then we had Riddle getting the hot tag. After Orton was on the defense, Riddle then lit up Ziggler and Roode. Exploder suplex to Ziggler and Roode and two Brotons. Randy Orton then with an RKO to Mr. Robert Roode. Ziggler with a super kick. We had cradle for cradle trade-offs between Riddle and Ziggler. And then Riddle rolled up Ziggler in a tight cradle for the 1-2-3. And RK Bro retained the titles as they should. RK Bro should not be losing the Raw Tag Team titles anytime soon. And RK Bro should be going into at least WWE Day 1 with the Raw Tag Team titles. Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belaire for the Raw Women's title is set for next week. Who gives a shit? Main event was a great match. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate what these four men did. Balor, Mysterio, Owens, and Rollins. Great match. This was a ladder match for the right to challenge Big E. Owens then was in control. He tried for a senton on the ladder, but Rollins moved. Owens then crashed onto the ladder. Coming back from a commercial, Balor with a drop kick to Owens into a ladder onto Rollins. Owens then came back off the top of the ladder with Rey Mysterio and Finn Balor on it. Then we had Rollins with a buckle bomb to Owens. Owens came back with a super kick. Owens then ended up bringing out a table. Rollins then came in with a suicide dive onto Balor and Owens. Rey came in with a 619 into a ladder, sending the ladder face first into Kevin Owens. Balor then with a tope con hero onto Rollins and Rey. Coming back from the final commercial, we had a Pele kick to Kevin Owens, and then a senton on Balor by Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio then got planted by Owens with a gourd buster. Rollins then took out Finn Balor. Balor then got stunnered by Owens. Owens then got Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio then sent Owens to the floor. Owens then caught he caught a senton, right? He caught the mid-West Coast pop, and then he powerbombed Rey Mysterio through the table that he set up. Rollins then stopped Owens' momentum. Rollins then launched Owens over the top through a ladder set up between the announce table and the ring. Rollins then with a stomp to Finn, and then Rollins climbed the ladder, and he won the ladder match and the right to challenge Big E. Afterwards, Big E then came out to congratulate Rollins, and we have Big E's next challenger after he gets done with Roman. Listen, this was a great match. This was a great match, don't get me wrong, but I don't understand why we needed this match. You see, you could have gone about this match a hell of a lot better. You could have had Owens win some matches instead of jobbing out to Happy Corbin. You could have had Balor win King of the Ring and actually made King of the Ring mean something, but instead Xavier Woods is fucking making Kofi Kingston a knight. Yeah, as if we needed Sir Kofi Kingston on SmackDown. Sir, I don't give a shit. How about that? I don't understand why Balor couldn't have won King of the Ring. How about this? If Rollins was just going to end up challenging Big E anyway, why did Edge win Hell in a Cell? If Edge was going to go away and spend some time with his family before he returns in 2022, if Edge was just going to go away for the rest of the year, why did Rollins lose? If Edge was sticking around, why didn't you have Edge why didn't you have Edge win Hell in a Cell if he was going to stick around? But if he wasn't going to stick around, why did Rollins lose? Couldn't you have just had Rollins win and then challenge Big E afterwards? I don't get it. I honest to God don't get it. I really don't. I don't understand why we needed Seth Rollins to lose only to win a ladder match in which none of the participants, including himself, deserved the title opportunity, only to fight Big E anyway. The booking on this show is fucking atrocious. You could have just had fucking Rollins win. Just have him win at Hell in a Cell, and then, boom, new #1 contender. I don't understand what's so hard about that. I really don't. Great match, but the entire scenario just made absolutely no sense. Rollins should have won at Hell in a Cell. We did not need this ladder match. Balor, if Rollins was going to lose, Balor should have won King of the Ring, and Balor should have gone on to face off against Kevin Owens. Xavier Woods winning King of the Ring was a fucking terrible decision. And I'm going to talk about that later on when we get to the SmackDown review. Raw was terrible. I fully agree with this statement, Adam, and it's an unfortunate set of circumstances. We'll see what happens. But we are going to get into NXT Halloween Havoc, and my phone apparently won't charge. I don't know what's going on over here. There we go. Now it's charging. I think so. What's going on here? Give me a minute. There we go. Phone's finally charging. I'm not sure what's going on over here. This fucking technology, I tell you. At least my laptop's charging, because that's got to be nice and healthy, because we still got 5 more shows to go through. I appreciate you guys sticking around. We're going to talk about NXT Halloween Havoc, which was not a very good show either. There was very few things to actually look forward to with NXT Halloween Havoc. I didn't really give a shit about it. I might as well just skim through Halloween Havoc. There's a few things to talk about, but NXT, I don't think I'm ever going to cover NXT ever. I think that this may be it. There's no reason to cover NXT. It's a waste of time. It really is. NXT, it's just not fun anymore. It really is not fun anymore. I'll still watch it. I'll still make myself aware, but I just don't give a shit. It means nothing. So NXT Halloween Havoc, not a very good show at all. Started off with Indy Hartwell and Persia Pirotta versus Toxic Attraction versus Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. This was a Stairway to Hell ladder match for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. This was not very good at all. Not very good at all. This was a fucking mess of a ladder match. It really was. This was a fucking mess of a ladder match from the start. I don't know what the fuck happened. Honest to God, it legitimately felt like none of these women felt like they were comfortable in this environment. Listen, Gigi Dolan, Persia Pirotta, Indy Hartwell, and JC Jane, they're fine in terms of regular matches, but they have never been in a match like this. Indy Hartwell has only been in one other match, and it was a street fight against Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. Other than that, Indy Hartwell has not had any experience in this type of environment. Gigi Dolan and Persia Pirotta and JC Jane, same thing. They haven't had any type of experience in this type of environment, and it honestly was a fucking mess from the word go. Should not have happened. If you wanted to give the titles to Toxic Attraction, it just should have been a 2-on-2 match between Toxic Attraction and Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. So Persia Pirotta ended up taking out Toxic Attraction with a ladder. Zoe Stark and Io Shirai tried to climb it before JC Jane stopped them. Indy Hartwell set up a ladder in between the announce table and the ring apron. Gigi Dolan then went up to the top, but she got sent into JC Jane. Shirai climbed the top of the ladder onto Indy Hartwell. They both went down. Persia Pirotta, she started to stack up. She not stack up. She pushed the ladder. Excuse me, I can't even read my own fucking handwriting. Persia Pirotta, she shoved the ladder, and Zoe Stark springboarded off the top onto the pile of bodies on the outside. Pirotta then started taking out everyone. She powerbombed Gigi Dolan onto a ladder. Io Shirai then hit a springboard moonsault onto JC Jane onto a ladder. Persia Pirotta then got dropped onto a ladder. Zoe Stark then, with a very sloppy-looking Phoenix splash, she botched this. She botched this to epic proportion. She really did. I don't know what the fuck happened here, but it did not look good at all. Zoe Stark landed on her feet, and then all of a sudden, there was no impact whatsoever. She landed on the legs of Persia Pirotta. No impact at all. It looked terrible. Hartwell then with a spine buster to Stark onto a ladder. Indy Hartwell then shoved Io Shirai off the ladder. She fucking tripped over the top rope, and she landed on the ladder set up between the ring apron and the announce table, and the ladder didn't break. Looked fucking nasty. It really did. Gigi Dolan then shoved Hartwell off the ladder, and Gigi Dolan then grabbed one belt, and then the ref automatically called for the bell. And then JC Jane had to climb up and unhook the other one. Fucking stupid. This was not a good ladder match at all. Very, very, very sloppy. Very botchy. Very clunky. I don't know what the fuck happened, but man, this was not good by any means necessary. It was not. Toxic Attraction win. I didn't really mind it. But it should have just been a 2-on-2 tag team match. Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes, they went to Loomis's haunted mansion. Williams didn't want to go in. Cringy shit. Gargano told Loomis in the back that he home aloned the crap out of this place. And then Williams and Hayes then walked into the mansion, and then it came up to be continued. We had Grayson Waller. Guy can wrestle, but man, is he fucking cringy. Grayson Waller was dressed up as Dracula, hyping up the show before Joe Gacy came out to talk about the positive message of inclusiveness. Fucking stupid. Joe Gacy is terrible. He really is. Malik Blade versus Joe Gacy. Harland, a.k.a. Parker Bodor, came out and put Blade in a chokehold. Gacy told him to let him go. Gacy then won with a handspring lariat. And then he said, Harland, you can trust me. And then they leave together. I don't know where this is going, but man, Joe Gacy is not appealing at all. He's not. I'm sorry. Joe Gacy's flat out terrible. Kaylee Ray had a promo package where she was pissed that she hasn't gotten any respect. I don't mind this character change for Kaylee Ray. I think that this could very well be something of substance if they want it to be, but I don't know. We had an open challenge from Diamond Mine, and it was accepted by Odyssey Jones, and he wanted Roderick Strong. So we had Roderick Strong versus Odyssey Jones. This lasted about 4 minutes. Jones lost because of a distraction from Brutus Creed, and then Strong hit him with a big knee right to the jaw, and Strong got the win. I don't understand why we needed this match. Why does Odyssey Jones need to lose? If you're building up Odyssey Jones, why does he need to lose within 4 minutes to Roderick Strong? And if you are looking to really make this show something of substance, why did we need 2 squash matches on the show? Why did we need Joe Gacy versus Malik Blade? And why did we need Odyssey Jones versus Roderick Strong? These matches brought the show down. They really did. Mandy Rose versus Raquel Gonzalez. This was for the NXT Women's Championship. It was a spin the wheel, make the deal match, and it landed on Chucky's choice. I don't know why they had this new Chucky character. I'm not sure why they had this shit on NXT. It was a USA initiative, and it was fucking terrible. It really was. Chucky chose a trick or street fight. Of course we had a trick or street fight. Why wouldn't we? Raquel Gonzalez, though, I will say this. Raquel Gonzalez came riding in on a motorcycle. Very Undertaker, American Badass-esque. I like that. I'm not going to lie. I like that. So, this match, I got to say this. This match was probably the best match of Mandy Rose's career. This was probably the best thing on the show. I got to give Mandy Rose a lot of credit. She has really come into her own, and she has really grown into this toxic attraction-like character. I like what I've been seeing here from Mandy Rose. So, Mandy Rose used the kendo stick on Raquel Gonzalez's leg. Before coming back from commercial, Raquel Gonzalez was strapped into a rolling chair with a kendo stick, right? And Mandy Rose trapped Gonzalez and gave Gonzalez a V-trigger while Gonzalez was in the chair. Pretty crafty right there. So then Gonzalez then put on a Jason mask and then sprayed Rose with a fire extinguisher. Raquel Gonzalez then gave Rose a snake eyes onto the top of the chair that she set on top of a buckle. That got a 2 count. Then Raquel Gonzalez got sent headfirst into the steps. Raquel kicked out. Raquel then delivered a spear to Mandy Rose through the table. Rose kicked out. All of a sudden, a masked figure hit Raquel Gonzalez in the back with a shovel. Rose then hit a V-trigger, and Mandy Rose won the NXT Women's Championship. And Toxic Attraction are now the female Undisputed Era group. I thought this was a great way to have Mandy Rose win the championship. I thought that they worked very well together, and I thought that Mandy Rose put on the best match of her career. I didn't mind this at all. What I did mind is the fact that Dakota Kai unmasked herself to be the Grim Reaper. So let me get this straight. let me get this straight. Dakota Kai loses to Raquel Gonzalez at TakeOver 36 because Raquel Gonzalez is sending Dakota Kai off to the main roster. Dakota Kai has been having tryout matches on main event against Aaliyah. So that means that she is getting called up to the main roster. So 2 months later, they decide, nah, we're not putting her on the main roster. So you send her back down to NXT only to go right back into a feud with Raquel Gonzalez when realistically she should have beaten Raquel Gonzalez at TakeOver 36 to win the NXT Women's Championship. I really don't know who the fuck is booking this shit, but if you were not going to call up Dakota Kai to the main roster, then she should have won the NXT Women's Championship. You should have had a plan formulated to have Dakota Kai potentially on the main roster after TakeOver 36. If you were giving her tryouts, then you should have called her up. You should have known right then and there, before TakeOver 36. You should have made a judgment before TakeOver 36 if you wanted to have her on the main roster or not. And if the answer was no, then you should have sent her back down to NXT right then and there, and she should have won the title from Raquel. But no, instead Raquel beats her, and then she drops the title to Mandy Rose. If Mandy Rose was ultimately going to be the next in line, you should have called Dakota Kai up. If Dakota Kai was going to remain in NXT, you should have given her the fucking title. What a terrible, terrible fucking decision. Unbelievable. Same old shit. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams back in the house. They ran into Andre Chase. Who gives a shit? Andre Chase is fucking terrible. And then we had zombies and all these monsters. Dexter Lumis and Gargano chased them off. And then next week we get a tag team match between Gargano, Lumis, Carmelo Hayes, and Trick Williams. Who gives a shit? I don't. Grayson Waller was in the ring hyping up the crowd. He was dressed as Dracula. And then LA Knight came out dressed as Dracula. Man, how the mighty have fallen. What the fuck is LA Knight doing? Solo Sikoa. He came out. LA Knight sent Waller into Sikoa, and Sikoa stood tall. Pretty much it. I don't really give a shit because there is nothing about NXT to give a shit about. MSK versus Imperium. This was for the NXT Tag Team Championship. Spin the wheel, make the deal. It was a Lumberjack-o-lantern match. So, of course, Lumberjack started fighting. MSK then dove onto Imperium on the floor. Coming back from commercial, Imperium, they then isolated Nash Carter before Wesley came in. He lit up both men. Eichner then eventually muscled up both men in a double rolling senton, which looked very impressive. Lumberjacks started taking out each other, and then we had Nash Carter doing a bulldog off of the top rope onto the pile of bodies. Looked very, very sloppy. Lumberjack match. Man, this Lumberjack match, I'm telling you, the whole Lumberjack match stipulation legitimately took away from everything that these two teams tried to do to make the titles mean something. Legitimately pissed me off. It really did. So coming back in the ring, Wesley with a tornado DDT on Eichner. We had an assisted moonsault by MSK. That combination got a very close 2 count. Then all of a sudden, Eichner and Bartel with a PK, and then a big assisted brainbuster. Then they hit the European bomb, and Imperium win the titles. I feel sorry for Imperium and MSK for busting their ass only to have it overshadowed because of some shitty Lumberjack stipulation. I really do feel sorry for them. I really do. That was pretty much that. I'm happy for Imperium. MSK, I'm not sure where they go from here. But Imperium, They are the new NXT Tag Team Champions, well-deserved for Imperium. I still would have had the Grizzled Young Veterans take the titles off of them. But it is what it is. I don't know what's going to happen in the future with these two teams, but though these two teams are great, I just can't get behind it. I can't get behind it, and it has nothing to do with these two teams. It has to do with the fact that WWE just doesn't value tag team wrestling. They don't. They don't. Main event was Tommaso Ciampa versus Braun Breaker. This is for the NXT Championship. This was a decent match, a decent main event, but Braun Breaker clearly is not ready for this spotlight. I'm not saying that Braun Breaker is bad because he's got a lot of potential. He's good. He's good for the small doses that we've seen him in. He's good for the small doses that we've seen him in. He is very good on the microphone. He's got a very, very cool vibe to him. He's intense. He's got a great look. He's decent enough in the ring to get by. But decent enough in the ring to get by, that does not constitute you as championship ready. He's in the same league as Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill is decent enough in the ring to get by, but that doesn't mean she's ready for a title. So at the end of the day, Tommaso Ciampa retaining was the right outcome. Now, I'm shocked that he actually retained. I'm dead shocked. I wasn't expecting this at all. But to be quite honest with you, I'm not complaining. I don't know what prompted them to have Ciampa retain, but I'm not complaining. So they felt each other out early on before Ciampa took over with a big axe handle to the back. Braun Breaker fought back, but he got caught with Willow's bell. He kicked out. Braun Breaker then with a Hurricane Rana on Ciampa. That looked impressive. And then he delivered a double underhook slam. Ciampa then kicked out. Ciampa then with a reverse DDT. Both men were on the outside. Ciampa then DDT'd Braun Breaker on the exposed concrete. Breaker was busted open. Ciampa delivered the fairy tale ending, but Braun Breaker kicked out. Ciampa then kept the aggression on Braun Breaker as Braun Breaker continued to get up. He delivered a V-trigger, another V-trigger, a third V-trigger, and then a second fairy tale ending, and Braun Breaker falls to Tommaso Ciampa. I'm glad Tommaso Ciampa retained the title. Braun Breaker clearly is not ready. I'm not sure what made them go with Ciampa retaining, but you know what? You're not going to hear a complaint out of me because Ciampa, he is the heart and soul of NXT. The heart and soul of NXT clearly isn't dead yet, but this was the beginning of the end. Sooner rather than later, Ciampa's going to lose that title to whoever it may be, and things are not going to work out well for Tommaso Ciampa. They really aren't. Braun Breaker, he's got a long way to go. I'm glad he didn't win the championship, and I'm glad that he's going to spend some time developing his craft, getting better. We'll see what happens down the line. Not a very good show at all. Very, very, very lackluster show. A very, very depressing show as well. It legitimately felt like I was watching a main roster production. And it's sad to see. It really is sad to see. That was NXT. We got 4 more shows to go over, and then we're going to get the hell on out of here because I know that everyone wants to go about their day. I'm going about my day as I am going to go see a movie later today. I'm going to see Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Should be a damn good movie. I heard good things about it. So, let us talk about Let's talk about Dynamite. Let's talk about Dynamite, and I'm very, very, very much looking forward to what we have going forth into Full Gear. Full Gear looks fucking great. Full Gear looks stacked. We got a lot of material to be excited about for AEW. Cannot wait for it. Cannot wait for it. So, Dynamite, excellent show. Excellent fucking show this week. Show started off with CM Punk versus Bobby Fish. This was a very good wrestling match. Punk and Fish, they worked a very methodical pace early on. Punk sent Fish to the floor. Punk with a tope suicida. Punk and Fish then traded strikes back and forth. Fish tried to work on the leg of Punk. Punk then sent Fish to the floor. And he hit a one-legged Macho Man Randy Savage elbow drop. Looked great. We then had Fish kicking out at 2. Punk then with a swinging neck breaker, rising knee, and a clothesline. Punk was then just able to hit the GTS. Bobby Fish kicked out after the referee counted 3. So I actually believe that what they were trying to do here was Punk's story was the leg. Fish was targeting the leg of CM Punk. So what happened was CM Punk hit the GTS, but he could not cover just in time, and he just got the cover because Bobby Fish was able to kick out since Punk did not have enough energy to keep Bobby Fish all the way down for that 3 count, and it was just able to get the win. So I didn't mind that ending. I did not mind that ending. Punk got the win against Bobby Fish, and based on what happened on Rampage, it looks like he's moving on to Eddie Kingston. Take my money. Take my money. MJF, the man who I dressed up as last year for Halloween, MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. He was in action against Bryce Donovan. MJF won with the Heat Seeker in about 30 seconds. He relished in his victory. He took the mic and he says, "This place is exactly how I remembered it from last time. An absolute shithole. I'd rather shove my junk in a blender than bang your disgusting fat women." Man, I love MJF. Speaking of disgusting, he says, Darby Allin. Fans chanted for Darby. He goes, "This town loves to chant for losers. You claim I couldn't break you mentally, yet you're too scared to show up to work. I knocked out your creepy Poppy Sting with my beautiful Dynamite Diamond ring, which I beat Adam Hangman Page for 2 years ago. The more you know." So he goes, "There's nothing stopping me from my destiny. You're looking at the future world champion. I am the past, the present, and the future." Sting's music then hit. He was going to come out, or so we thought. And then MJF started laughing. He called the crowd stupid. He goes, "People from Massachusetts are so dumb." I laughed. The lights then went out. MJF goes, "Haha, very funny, Spears." Spear goes, "That's not me." All of a sudden, a video package played of Darby beating up a man dressed up as MJF. He put him through a table on a stage. Sting then appeared in the ring, and he ran off MJF. Darby was dressed in the crowd. He looked to be dressed as the Invisible Man, and then he took a skateboard, and the skateboard had thumbtacks on it, and then he delivered a skateboard shot to the back of Wardlow and Spears. Tacks were in their back. Darby then took the mic and he goes, "MJF, full gear." It's going to be a great fucking match. That is going to be a great fucking match. I like it. Awesome, awesome, awesome stuff. Sammy Guevara, Sammy G versus All Ego Ethan Page. This was for the TNT Championship. My God, do I love Ethan Page. Ethan Page, he plays the prick so well. He really does. He really does. He's got this smile, and he points his finger to his cheek and smiles. He's got this prick-like smile that legitimately wants to make me see him get punched in the face. And I love that about him. Ethan Page is a great fucking heel. He's great. He's also a great wrestler, too. And this was an excellent fucking match. These two fought like they were fighting for the world fucking title. This was an awesome fucking match right here. So, Guevara went right after Ethan Page. We had big knees to the face of Page and a big Fosbury flop over the top. He then sent Page into the timekeeper's area, and the bell finally rang. Ethan Page, he cut off Guevara on the top turnbuckle and then hit a sidewalk slam on the top buckle. Page then regained control. Guevara then mounted a comeback with an enziguri and a springboard cutter. Looked great. Beautiful standing Spanish fly for a 2. Guevara then went up to the top and hit a standing shooting star press to a standing Ethan Page on the floor. Crowd chanted, holy shit. Sammy then got him back in the ring. Page then came back with a big slam from the middle rope. And then he hit a big scoop power slam for a 2 count. Page then body slammed Sammy from the middle rope and then hit a big lariat, turning Sami Zayn inside out. Sammy then kicked out. Page went for an avalanche Ego's Edge. Sammy with a Hurricane Rana off the top. And then he hit a tight roll-up, a tight jackknife cover. And Sammy Guevara gets the 1-2-3, retains the TNT Championship in an excellent match. All of a sudden, Scorpio Sky came out to attack the Inner Circle. And then all of a sudden, Jericho came out with the Inner Circle. He took the mic and he says he has respect for Sky for beating him twice, but the only thing that Page has been beating was his meat in his hotel room last night. We had a beat the meat chant by the crowd, which I loved. He said that the 10-man tag match at Full Gear will be a Minneapolis street fight. And he told Dan Lambert, that pumpkin-headed dipshit, to be there so he'll know who's going to get kendo sticks shoved up their backside. And he paraphrased a quote from Aerosmith to end the segment, and the crowd chanted and cheered, and it was great. Awesome stuff. The match with Ethan Page and Sammy Guevara was excellent. I don't really care about this American Top Team versus the Inner Circle bullshit, but I will say this. I think that Jericho's promos are great. Men of the Year are great. I'm not sure what's going to happen with this American Top Team bullshit, but we'll see. I'll tell you what also was an excellent match was Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida. This was a TBS Championship Tournament first round. Shida and Deeb were very, very aggressive here to start off the match. And this TBS Championship Tournament, it's going damn good. I will say that. We had a big deadlift superplex for a 2 by Hikaru Shida. Coming back from commercials, Shida with a vicious forearm and a rising knee strike. Big diving missile dropkick and a vertical suplex for a 2. Deeb then got caught with an axe handle and a straight jacket German suplex. A sit-out dominator for a 2, which looked great. We then had a knee strike to the back of the head, but Deeb still kicked out. Deeb then picked the ankle and got a dragon screw on Shida. Serena Deeb then was sent to the floor before Shida came back. She then launched herself off of the stairs with a missile drop kick to Deeb. Back in the ring, Deeb then came back by slamming Shida's leg into the apron and then locking in a Bret Hart-like figure 4 around the ring post. She then locked in a half crab, locked in deep, but then she transitioned into a reverse figure 4, looked great. Shida got to the ropes. Deeb then went for what did she go for? I think she went for the Serenity Lock, but Deeb was not able to fully lock it in, and Shida ended up rolling Deeb up after a quick back and forth exchange of roll-ups, and Serena Deeb loses. Shida gets her win back. She gets her 50th win, and she advances to the next round in the TBS Championship Tournament. I like it. I definitely like it. She goes to face Nyla Rose. They have some history in the tournament, and I'm very interested in seeing how that match turns out. So afterwards, Deeb then attacked Shida. Deeb then hit Shida in the knee with the chair and then locked in the Serenity Lock as the refs came out to stop her. And that looked great. That looked great. I would not mind seeing a third match between these two because these two work so damn well together. AEW World Title Eliminator, first round match. The final first round match, it was number 10 versus Jon Moxley. And Jon Moxley absolutely destroyed Preston Vance within 3 minutes. Preston Vance was busted open. He was bleeding. Moxley won with a paradigm shift. And he goes to the next round to face Orange Cassidy. And man, Jon Moxley's heel turn, it's going to be fucking great. It really is. It's going to be great. Cody Rhodes came out. Cody Rhodes came out to address the crowd. He addressed the crowd booing him. And he goes, I hear you. I hear you online. I hear you all managing, all the managers shouting at clouds. I had a Tiger Driver 98, which Excalibur so beautifully called, but I was thinking about hitting another move. He was thinking about hitting a pedigree. He goes, would I have broken my covenant between you and I? Would I go and challenge for the world title and win it? But you know why I didn't? Respectfully, because that's too easy. You can cheer or boo, but don't boo the narrative. Don't boo the man that built this bank. I grew up in front of you. I got a wife too hot for me. I got a brother that's better than me, and I got a father who I can't even live up to. I will not turn. I will not turn because that's too easy. I love you all very much, and I will love you for my entire life. And if I got a little Hollywood, I apologize. I apologize to the Nightmare family, and it is a damn honor to stand in the ring with you, sir. He was talking about Arn Anderson. You know, I want to say this right now. The narrative with Cody, it is really disgusting, but I want everyone to know why Cody's being booed. Cody is not being booed because he's buried anyone. He hasn't. Cody's not being booed because he puts himself over or because he's showcased on television too much. Cody is booed because he's boring. And I'll explain to you what I mean by that. When AEW first came around, Cody's character was one of a kind because he was only doing that. Cody was on top of the fan hierarchy because he built AEW. He helped build AEW. He was responsible for all of this because he got in contact with Tony Khan. He's a very, very, very generous individual, and he really cares about the business. He cares about getting other people over. He's not in it for himself. But the problem is that Cody's character has had no growth. It's had no evolution. And with all of these new people coming in, new people like Darby Allin and Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Adam Cole, and Andrade and Malachi Black, the fan hierarchy changed. The fan hierarchy changed, and Cody Rhodes moved down the fan hierarchy. Who are you going to cheer for? Cody or Cole? Cody or Punk? Cody or Bryan? Cody or Malachi? Cody Rhodes and his character is just boring and repetitive. That's pretty much it. And when people get tired of the same thing over and over again, they're going to voice their displeasure on it. That's pretty much it. But I will say this. I like the promo. I definitely like this promo. And Cody he's really getting us invested in what he's doing here. He's getting us invested in what he's doing here because what we have right here with Cody and the fact that he's acknowledging this, it's making this storyline unpredictable because you don't know what's going to happen next. So now everyone's going to be watching Cody Rhodes very, very closely because we want to see what Cody's going to do next. Could he turn? Could he not turn? Could we see Cody Rhodes flip off the fans? Could we see Cody turn on Pac at Full Gear? Is Cody Rhodes going to pull a John Cena? I don't know what's going to happen. That's what's going to be the interesting part about all of this. We don't know what's going to happen with Cody. And I like that. So we had, what do we have? We had Andrade El Idolo coming out. And he goes, these people don't like you. They don't like me, but I don't care about the people. He goes, you make stupid choices. First, that is a stupid tattoo. And I actually laughed at that. I thought Andrade was great. He goes, second, you got in my business. I am Andrade El Idolo. And if you want, I can make you my little bitch. Man, that was the best promo that Andrade's ever cut. I loved it. Malachi Black then came out after the lights went on and off. And there was an ambush before Pac came out. Pac sent Black and Andrade packing, and then Pac flipped off Malachi Black and Andrade in the ring, which I loved that. I loved it. I can't wait to see this tag team match. So on Rampage, we had Baker and Abaddon in a no DQ match. We had Matt Sydal and Dante Martin, and then we had Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston. Next week, we have Jamie Hayter and Anna Jay in a TBS Championship Tournament first round. We also have Cody Rhodes versus Andrade El Idolo and Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley. And then in the main event, we had Dark Order versus the Elite, and they were all dressed in Halloween costumes. Dark Order was dressed up for Halloween. We had Evil Uno being dressed up as Hangman Adam Page. Colt Cabana was dressed up as Brandon Cutler. Then we had Silver dressed up as Bambi, and Stu Grayson was dressed up as the God of War. What is it? Kratos. He was dressed up as Kratos, and my God, he looked fucking great. He looked awesome. The Elite, they were dressed up as Ghostbusters, and I don't understand why people had a problem with this. Because when AEW does this, it's once in a blue moon, and number two, this match actually advanced storylines. When WWE does this, they do this shit every fucking week, and they don't care about advancing storylines. They just care about embarrassing the fucking talent. It's not the same. So we had the Elite isolating Stu Grayson, tag to Cabana with a big springboard moonsault, Cabana then with the flip-flop and fly. We had a Superman pin, but Cole saved it. Super kick by Nick Jackson. Silver then came in with a Cesaro-like comeback. Man, I love John Silver. Then we had a triple super kick and a neck breaker combo. Grayson saved the match. Evil Uno with a neck breaker. Everyone started getting their shit in. Matt Jackson then took Rick Knox. He took out Rick Knox accidentally with a super kick. And then Grayson got caught with the low blow. The other members of the Dark Order got hit with low blows. And then we had the Proton Packs. And they all put the Proton Packs on the ring. And I believe it was Cabana that got powerbombed onto the Proton Packs, which looked brutal. All of a sudden, a horse came out. The Dark Order was chasing the horse. It was Brandon Cutler, actually. Brandon Cutler was duct taped underneath the horse mask. They thought it was a member of the Dark Order. They ended up taking out Brandon Cutler with a 4-way BTE trigger. Dark Order then came out, and they took out the rest of the field. All of a sudden, Adam Page unmasked to be the Marshmallow Man. And Grayson took him out, and he took out Matt Jackson. Then we had a Deadeye to Omega. Silver then hit the Spin Doctor on Matt Jackson, and Silver won it for his team. And that was it. Very, very fun match. No reason to complain about that. And the Dark Order get a big win. And I'm glad to see the Dark Order got a big win there. Glad to see it. Very, 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 very much looking forward to seeing what happens with the Dark Order. Very much looking forward to seeing what happens with Page. I cannot wait until Adam Hangman Page wins the World Championship. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Excellent episode of AEW Dynamite this week. Loved it from start to finish. Really, really, really good stuff. Definitely been loving what AEW's been doing. NXT UK. We're going to move on to NXT UK. Kind of a lackluster episode of NXT UK outside of the main event. The main event was very good, and the ending was excellent. If you didn't see this NXT UK main event, you got to go out of your way to watch it, because, man, it was very good. So there was a lot of preliminary stuff with NXT UK. We had Mark Coffey taking on Rohan Raja. Not a bad match, just didn't really care about it. Mark Coffey ended up winning with a sliding uppercut, and then afterwards, Teoman and Rohan Raja attacked Gallus, and they stood tall. Next week, we have Symbiosis versus Oliver Carter and Ashton Smith, and then Jack Stars and Dave Mastiff. The winners will face Pretty Deadly for the tag team titles. We had Myla Grace versus Amel. Blair Davenport came out to watch. Amel won with the Hope Breaker. Pretty much it. Danny Jones took on Charlie Dempsey. And he got caught with a plethora of butterfly suplexes by Charlie Dempsey. I like what Charlie Dempsey's been doing. I like it. William Regal's son can work. He then locked in a very deep hammerlock, almost like a Shankly Gates combination. You have to go back and watch it. It looked brutal. He bent the arm back. So Danny Jones ended up tapping out. One thing I want to say about the triple threat tag team match that's coming up in 2 weeks, I don't really understand why this is happening. The only team that really deserves to be in that position were Stars and Mastiff anyway. But I'm guessing they want to give Pretty Deadly another tag team title defense. So, next week, we actually got Mako Satamura versus Jinny for the NXT UK Women's Championship. That's going to be a great match. And then in the main event was the best thing on the show. Probably the only good thing to go out of your way to watch. Tyler Bate versus Noam Dar. This is for the NXT UK Heritage Cup Championship. Very technical first round, just like all of the Heritage Cup matches. Started off very stereotypical, very slow. No falls were scored in the second round either. Dar then hit a running drop kick to Bate. He sent him into the stairs, and then he hit the Nova Roller in the third round. Dar scored the first fall. Dar nearly got rolled up by Bate in the fourth round. Bate with a springboard lariat, and then he hit the Tyler Driver 97. Bate scored the second fall, and he tied up the falls. Dar then came back with a dragon screw and a running forearm for a 2 in the fifth round. Dar then raked the eyes. He had a very nice spinning back elbow, Andrade-esque. That got a 2 count. Bate then kicked out. We had a knee bar locked in, but Dar did not get the tap out. So in the sixth round, we had an exploder suplex by Tyler, a big tope on Noam Dar, and then he hit a big dive over the top, taking out Shaw Samuels. Bate then locked in a knee bar. Bate then with a German suplex. Both men were down. All of a sudden, Pretty Deadly came out. The Pretty Boys coming off like stereotypical pricks. I love it. They tried to get involved, right? They tried to get involved, and they tried to cause a distraction. Tyler Bate looked at him like an idiot. Now, this was not the end of Tyler Bate, thankfully. Dar nearly rolled him up. All of a sudden, Pretty Deadly, and this is where this excellent ending came into play. You got to go out and watch it. Pretty Deadly, they tried to take the title from Trent. Not the title. They tried to take the title from. They tried to take the towel from Trent Seven, because if you guys remember, over 3 years ago, Trent Seven and Tyler Bate, they were involved in a tag team match with the Undisputed Era, which ended in Tyler Bate throwing in the towel when Trent Seven was locked in a submission hold. Now Tyler Bate is locked in a submission hold, and Trent Seven, he's got a towel. And Pretty Deadly are trying to get the towel so they can throw it in and cause the match to end. Trent Seven did not allow them to do that, and instead, he threw the towel away, inadvertently throwing it into the ring, causing the referee to ring the bell because he thought that Trent Seven forfeited the match for Tyler Bate intentionally. Brilliant. It's so fucking great because this just adds another layer to the storyline between Pretty Deadly and Mustache Mountain. And I love this because this picks up steam and it's inevitably going to lead to another match between Pretty Deadly and Mustache Mountain, and it's going to end in Mustache Mountain winning the titles. I love it. I love it. It was such a great way to get the Heritage Cup off of Tyler Bate, and it was such a great fucking way to pretty much develop sympathy towards Mustache Mountain. And Pretty Deadly, let me tell you something. Pretty Deadly, they were fucking jobbers. They were fucking jobbers back in 2019. Man, Pretty Deadly, they have grown so much. They may look like jobbers, but man, can they fucking wrestle. And they look like stereotypical pretty boys that you just want to see get booted in the face. Pretty Deadly's fucking awesome. And dare I say that they've been the best NXT UK Tag Team Champions to date. I know that Hibicki's got a lot of praise for Pretty Deadly. Outside of the main event, a very skippable episode, very mediocre episode of NXT UK. Didn't really give a shit about it. We got 20 likes. 20 likes. You guys have been kicking ass. You guys have been kicking ass. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Great, 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 great stuff. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. Awesome, awesome, awesome material. Please make sure you hit that like button if you have not already done so. Please make sure that you got yourself a nice cold beverage because we got about 2 more shows to go over. And we are going to get straight into the SmackDown review, even though I don't want to. But I do appreciate you guys sticking around. I appreciate Danielle Wolf. I appreciate Rob Wells Jr. I appreciate Dee. Appreciate all of you. I also appreciate Mr. Adam Carl. You guys were great. I appreciate everyone that stopped by the channel. And we're going to go over the SmackDown show, which was fucking terrible. There was not one positive thing on this show. So Charlotte Flair kicked off the show. Man, if you haven't already realized it, I think that the code calls for it. Everyone in the chat, please, can you say the code? The code is fuck Charlotte Flair. Fuck Charlotte Flair. And all of her supporters. Fuck Charlotte Flair indeed. So, the cunt came out. And she says, more things change the more they stay the same. Charlotte Flair, SmackDown Women's Champion. I am the face of this division and the face of this whole company, and no one is going to change that. When Charlotte Flair wins a title, it's just another Friday. So Sasha Banks interrupted. Sasha Banks then said, you don't care about helping any other women in the back. You only care about holding them down. You know what I want. Charlotte goes, don't you think that's a little selfish? I've beaten you. I was talking to Sonya, and I think a new face deserves an opportunity. Really? Is that like a new initiative for Charlotte, or is Charlotte trying to mask the fact that everyone already knows that she's a self-absorbed cunt? So Shotzi Blackheart came out, or just Shotzi. She goes, if you're looking for someone you've never faced before, then I'm your girl. Charlotte said, you're going to get your match right now. So we get the match. The second half of the match wasn't bad, but man, the first half of this match was very, very sloppy. I don't even understand why this match needed to take place. Very, very sloppy first start of the matchup. Shotzi did not connect with her moves in the beginning. And Charlotte Flair just doesn't give a shit. So, coming back from commercial, Charlotte got Hurricane Rana off the middle rope for a 2. Shotzi with a rolling elbow for a 2. Charlotte with a big boot. Shotzi came back with a kick in the face. Shotzi then with a tiger suplex on Charlotte for a 2. Charlotte sent Shotzi into the buckle. Charlotte with a double jump moonsault for a 2. Charlotte took advantage of Sasha getting on the apron, which caused a distraction on Shotzi's part. Charlotte won with a natural selection, and that was pretty much it. Sasha then was shoved down by Shotzi. Shotzi then blamed her for the loss. She attacked Sasha. Shotzi then laid out Sasha Banks, screaming, how dare you? Shotzi then sent Sasha into her tank head first and then gave her a diving senton. First off, I don't understand why we needed the match between Charlotte and Shotzi. Charlotte is obviously not losing because she's facing Becky. And then all of a sudden, Shotzi returns after God knows how many months away. Shotzi has had all about 5 television appearances on television over the course of the last 6 months. Then we get this match. Neither woman can lose. Sasha inadvertently causes Shotzi to lose. Sasha Banks is a heel. Shotzi's a babyface. And Shotzi then turns heel for no fucking reason on Sasha Banks. Might I remind you that Shotzi Blackheart has been one of the most beloved baby faces in WWE's women's division for a good while now. What reason does anyone have to boo Shotzi? It's like Becky Lynch turning heel. It's like Keith Lee turning heel. Why are we booing Becky Lynch? Becky Lynch, she came back after having a child and she's in great physical shape. Why are we booing Becky Lynch? Keith Lee overcame heart inflammation. Why are we booing Keith Lee? Shotzi Blackheart has overcome a lot of adversity and mental struggle in her life as well. Shotzi Blackheart is a fun-loving person. Why are we booing her? Nobody's going to boo Shotzi Blackheart. No one. Thank you, Indigo. Indigo obviously knows what is going on in front of us. No one's going to boo Shotzi Blackheart. You had this woman get called up to the main roster to get put in a tag team with Tegan Nox, only for them to target the women's tag team titles. They beat the champions on 3 separate occasions. They don't even get their tag team title opportunity. They get split up in the draft, and then Shotzi gets buried by Charlotte Flair for no fucking reason whatsoever. No fucking reason at all. And now she's healed. I guarantee you right now, she's going to be nothing more than a lukewarm heel. No one is going to give a shit about Shotzi as a heel. She should be a babyface. She should be winning matches that are not against champions. And she should be in top-tier positions to be one of the biggest babyfaces in the division. But instead, now you turn her heel for no apparent reason. I wouldn't be surprised that if Sasha inevitably wins the SmackDown Women's title, I wouldn't be surprised if Shotzi Blackheart is her first challenger. And even then, Shotzi Blackheart isn't winning the championship. She's not. And why are we turning Sasha Banks back into a babyface? Why are we turning Sasha Banks back into a babyface when she just turned heel this year? She came back as a heel against Bianca Belaire. I mean, are we making Sasha Banks the new Big Show now? Come on. Pierce announced that he had fined Brock Lesnar $1 million. Pierce, channeling his inner Dr. Evil, $1 million. Drew McIntyre came out. He issued an open challenge. He took the mic and he goes, Drew McIntyre is in an ass-kicking mood. They want an open challenge. Who's got the testicular fortitude to fight the SmackDown Warrior? And out came Mustafa Ali. He goes, you're big, you're bad, but I'm better. I'm quicker, I'm more agile, and you don't even compare. And I'm going to be the one to beat you tonight. And usually, when that happens, when a superstar comes out saying that they're going to beat someone, that means that they're going to be looked at as a loser. And what happened here? Mustafa Ali taps out to Drew McIntyre in 3 minutes. Drew McIntyre locked in a Kimura lock. Ali didn't even last 5 seconds in the Kimura lock. Drew McIntyre wins. Now, I appreciate the fact that Drew McIntyre is gaining wins underneath his belt. I appreciate that. I have no problem with that. Matter of fact, Drew McIntyre right now, he's gaining wins and he's being built up to potentially take on Roman Reigns. That I would not mind. I don't mind Drew McIntyre actually gaining wins and then going on to face Roman. I don't mind that. That's what should be done for everyone that's challenging for a championship. But why do we need to get Ali in a situation where he loses in 3 minutes? I can't remember the last time Ali legitimately got a pinfall victory. Another week, another loss for Mustafa Ali. And then he took the mic and he goes, you people choose to cheer for Drew McIntyre and you choose to root against me because my name is Mustafa Ali. Really? So we're pulling out the stereotypical liberal race card in order to try and generate a storyline. Just reunite Mansoor and Mustafa Ali. Please, just reunite them. Just reunite them so that way we can get on with our lives and we can actually get something of substance with Mansoor and Ali potentially beating the Usos. King Woods, he had a segment with Hit Row in the back. I didn't give a shit. I did not give a shit at all. Typical Hail King Woods garbage. Woods then knighted Kofi. He said rejoice before. Hey, let me guess. Who came out? Oh, the Usos. Man, we haven't seen that one before. Man, how many times, man? I think it's been about, last year we saw this match. Wow. And what do we get? Oh, yeah, Usos and New Day in the main event. Who gives a shit? New era, same old shit. Okay, first off, please, can someone please legitimately tell me, someone give me a logical, valid explanation as to why Xavier Woods won King of the Ring. Keyword, intelligent. If you can't, shut the fuck up. Xavier Woods winning King of the Ring was a fucking waste of time. Then I got people coming into my mentions saying, oh, well, man, he pitched it. He pitched the King of the Ring. Maybe he deserves to win, you know? I don't give a shit who pitched King of the Ring. Woods is already a made man. Woods has already been given opportunities. He's an 11-time tag team champion, top merch seller, a prominent figure on television. Why can't we get Keith Lee winning King of the Ring? Why can't we get Karrion Kross winning King of the Ring? Why can't we get Cedric or Shelton or Apollo or Jeff Hardy, who's been treated like a fucking jobber, or Balor or a Cesaro or a Ricochet? Those are the guys that should be winning King of the Ring, not Xavier Woods. What did Xavier Woods do? He took the King of the Ring gimmick. He's got a shitty-ass royalty gimmick, just like everyone that wins King of the Ring in the modern era. And now they're going to a program with the Usos. They beat the Usos in the main event, and now they're going to fight the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team titles down the line. Who gives a shit? Terrible. Terrible. Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss. This was a trick or street fight. I'm not even going over this. I'm just going to skim through. SmackDown was fucking terrible. It really was. Madcap Moss wins after two guys dressed as pumpkin ghouls. They attacked Rick Boogs. Madcap Moss with a neck breaker to Boogs onto a pumpkin, and he wins. Madcap Moss and Corbin take the victory as the Pumpkin Men ended up being Carrillo and Garza. Why did we need that? I don't know. Nakamura's been booked like shit as the Intercontinental Champion. Sonya Deville came out before Naomi's match against Shayna Baszler, and she said that the ref that was supposed to work the match was injured because of Brock Lesnar last week, and she appointed herself as the ref. Naomi had a cover. Deville didn't count. Shayna Baszler won with Sonya Deville's quick count. And Naomi, she got taken out by Shayna Baszler as Sonya Deville walked away. I'm sorry to tell you that this feud, I'm sorry, I just don't care. I don't care anymore. They have not done anything to make this feud any more interesting than it already is. And on top of that, this is WWE we're talking about. I don't have any faith that they're going to give Naomi her just due. I don't have any faith that they're going to tell the story right. Why is it that we didn't have Sonya winning Queen of the Ring? Why didn't Sonya take the title off of Bianca? And why isn't Naomi being built up to face off against Sonya Deville at WrestleMania for the SmackDown Women's title? Why? And then the main event, what do you think happened? Usos versus New Day. What do you think happened? Woods rolled up Jimmy Uso for the win. SmackDown was fucking terrible. Terrible. One more show to go over. Thankfully, this show was actually fairly decent. AEW Rampage. We did get some pretty good material on Rampage. And to start off the show, man, if you guys haven't watched this match, you need to go out of your way to watch it. Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston, AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament semifinals. Danielson and Kingston put on an excellent match. They were beating the ever-living shit out of each other. Bryan's chest looked like someone took a cheese grater and just ran it along Bryan's chest. My God, it was fucking brutal. Bryan's chest looked about as red as a baboon's ass. So they were trading off heavy strikes in the beginning portions of this match. Kingston then with a right forearm and a Saito suplex on the floor. Danielson beat the count into the ring. Eddie Kingston with a backdrop driver. Danielson came back with an avalanche belly-to-belly suplex, or avalanche belly-to-back suplex off the top. Danielson with the yes kicks, big roundhouse kick to the head. Bryan then got caught with a DDT. Kingston then with the spinning back fist. Both men were down. People were giving them a standing ovation. Danielson then locked in the triangle. Eddie Kingston flipped off Bryan Danielson as Bryan Danielson elbowed Kingston in the head, and he locked in the triangle hold tight as Kingston passed out. Awesome. Excellent match. Protected Eddie Kingston in defeat. Bryan Danielson's going to the finals. Oh, and by the way, it is not by design. It's not. It is not by design that Bryan Danielson has had the best matches of this tournament thus far. He's just that damn good. He's just that damn good. This was awesome. Afterwards, Kingston was actually in the back, and he was pissed off that he lost. He was cursing up a storm. he interrupted CM Punk's interview. He interrupted CM Punk's interview. He was called unprofessional by CM Punk. Punk and Kingston at Full Gear, take my fucking money. Take my money. Take my money. I like it. I like it a lot. Moving on, we got Matt Sydal versus Dante Martin Part 3. Man, this was a very good match. Dante Martin, I gotta give him credit. Dante Martin has really taken to this singles role very well. Dante Martin is fucking fun to watch. He really is. And I'm telling you, if his brother don't hurry back soon, I honestly believe that Dante Martin is going to end up outshining his brother, and we're going to have a Jeff Hardy situation. We're going to have Dante Martin being the Jeff Hardy of the Hardy Boys-esque like tag team between himself and his brother Darius. Dante Martin, he is fucking great for his age. Matt Sydal's no slouch either, and this was a very, very, very fun match. So Dante Martin, using his quickness against Sydal, we had a big springboard drop kick and a big Asai moonsault to the floor on Sydal. Coming back from commercial, Dante Martin came in with an enziguri. Matt Sydal with a sliding knee to the head right in the corner. It looked brutal. Then we had Sydal getting a roll-up on Martin for a very, very close 2 count. We had a big roll-up by Dante. Crowd was really hyped up for this spot right here. Sydal kicked out. We had a huge Tierras takedown by Dante Martin. Dante Martin then hit a huge double foot stomp, a cave-in, if you will. He hit a cave-in, but Sydal was able to kick out. Sydal then with a Frankensteiner off the ropes. Matt Sydal was caught in a very, very tight crucifix pin by Dante Martin, but Matt still kicked out. Sydal then went for a body slam, but Martin came in with a stunner. Then he hit the double jump moonsault, and he gets the 1, 2, 3. And I like the fact that Lio Rush did not get involved in this match. I like the fact that Dante Martin won clean. This was a very, very fun match. Dante Martin, I don't know where this is going, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from Dante Martin. I think he's fucking great at what he does. And Lio Rush, I'm not really sure what's going on with Lio Rush here, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe this is just an introductory program for Lio Rush. We'll see what happens, but I'm certainly not minding what I'm seeing here. Next week on Rampage, we got John Silver versus Adam Cole, baby. And we also got Red Velvet versus The Bunny in a TBS Championship Tournament matchup. And I like the fact that they're making Rampage feel important. I really like that they're making Rampage feel important, I gotta say. I'll tell you what wasn't important. Britt Baker versus Abaddon in a trick or treat match. Listen, this wasn't as bad as I expected. And listen, I appreciate when wrestlers get brutal. I appreciate the use of weapons because you couldn't pay me all the money in the world to take a chair shot to the back. You couldn't pay me all the money in the world to go through a table. You couldn't pay me all the money in the world to get thumbtacks shoved into my mouth. So I appreciate the fact that they're willing to get brutal, but Abaddon sucks. Abaddon sucks. This match was completely unnecessary. The only reason why she was brought out was because it's Halloween. We haven't seen Abaddon since her match with Shida at the beginning of the year. And why has she been off of television? Because she sucks. Listen, she's got a lot in the back. If you know what I mean, wink, wink. She's got a lot of cake. Abaddon's got some cake. I would not mind hitting a zombie, but at the same point in time, just because I want to hit the zombie, don't mean the zombie can wrestle. Just point it out there. Zombie sucks. I don't know what the fuck is the appeal with Abaddon. I'm not sure why people like her. The creepy, spooky, satanic, demonic gimmick, it's just not appealing. It's not. It's terrible. It just doesn't work anymore. Abaddon sucks. Danhausen fucking sucks. Fucking Rosemary, that gimmick. with Rosemary. That gimmick sucks. The Crazy Steve, I prefer Crazy Steve over any one of those individuals, because at least Crazy Steve, at least he is somewhat, he's at least somewhat athletic, and he is at least somewhat realistic. Realism is what draws in the modern era of pro wrestling. Abaddon can't fucking wrestle to save her fucking life. Danhausen, listen, I'm pretty sure Danhausen's a decent wrestler. I've never seen him wrestle personally because I quite frankly don't care. I think he sucks. Danhausen sucks. I prefer Warhorse over Danhausen. But at the end of the fucking day, the creepy, voodoo, demonic, satanic, monster-like character, it doesn't work. This isn't the 1990s where we're watching the fucking Undertaker rise up from the grave at every single chance that we get. Abaddon can't wrestle to save her life. And the fact that she's no-selling moves makes it fucking ridiculous, okay? I'm just pointing it out there. So, the table was set up. Baker tried to break it twice. It did not break. We had an I am the table moment. So Abaddon, she brought out a bag of thumbtacks. Baker then was scared. Abaddon hit a Uranagi to Britt Baker on the thumbtacks. Baker still kicked out. Baker then took a chair, threw it at Abaddon's face. She wrapped the chair around Abaddon's neck and hit a curb stomp with the chair around Abaddon's neck. That looked brutal, I will say. That looked very nice. Abaddon got up like the fucking Undertaker. Britt Baker then put thumbtacks in Abaddon's mouth. Super kick connected. Abaddon then bit Baker's hand. Hater and Rebel got involved. Baker rolled up Abaddon for the win. And that was pretty much that. Goodbye, Abaddon. We will not be watching you on AEW Dark. And Baker's moving on to AEW Full Gear to fight a real women's wrestler in Ty Conti. And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. I'll be going out later to see Venom, Let There Be Carnage. And I'm going to keep you guys updated on how the movie was. If you haven't seen it, you can go out and see it. I do want to see that new horror movie Lamb and that new horror movie Antlers as well. Definitely looking forward to seeing those two movies. But I'm going to see Venom, Let There Be Carnage tonight. And I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys sticking by me throughout the stream. Dee, Rob Wells Jr., Hula Grim, everybody, Danielle Wolf, Peanut Butter with a Baseball Bat, Peanuts. I love y'all. You guys are fantastic. Check out all the links in the description. And please like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all those platforms on social media. And next Sunday, I will be going live where I'm going to be predicting Full Gear on November 7th. And, of course, November 6th and November 13th, we got 2 episodes of the LFU live on YouTube, of course. My name's DJ Storms. This has been the Lightning Flash Update, and I will catch you guys later. I appreciate y'all. And remember, Abaddon, though she's got cake, she can't wrestle. You guys have a great weekend. Ha-ha!